So, how we doing?
Good, how are you?
Having a good con?
Yeah, are you?
I am. A little busy. We have a few shows that we're talking about.
How excited are you for the next season?
It depends on which show that we're talking about.
Are you less excited for some other?
No, I was gonna go very and very, very. So there you go, and you guys can figure out which one it's gonna be. No, but we do have to sort of pick which one I'm talking about if we're gonna answer questions. It's awesome. I mean, I love the fact that we're in our third season. It shows that there's a really rabid audience for the show and ABC's belief in us. It's a gigantic show, as we know, with a spectacular cast and our showrunners Jed Whedon and Marissa Tancherone and Jeff Bell. But I think sort of the key for this year really rests on the word inhuman and how great that's going to be, because it enables us to be able to explore characters in a very different kind of way, and that is that, for someone like Phil Coulson, who has lost a hand and has alien DNA inside of him and came back from the dead, he's starting to question his own humanity, like literally, like, am I okay inside of me? And then you've got someone like Ward, who is now on a very dark road, even darker than we were before, and willing to do anything in order to get, as he refers to it, as closure. And so there's a kind of inhuman quality to that. And then there's the Marvel version of what inhuman is, and that notion that now that the Terrigen is out and it's in the ecosystem, the idea that your life could suddenly wake up tomorrow and be completely different is something that's extremely exciting to us. And it gives us a very clear mission statement for S.H.I.E.L.D. so that if you're new to the show, if you want to come back to the show, if you're a big fan of the show, it is very easy for you to get on the on-ramp, which is there are people out there who are suddenly waking up and they're enhanced, they're inhuman, and they don't know what to do about it, and S.H.I.E.L.D. needs to get there and help them with that decision. And as we've seen in the past, S.H.I.E.L.D. making that decision may not be the best thing for that individual, and so you immediately have that conflict, and you have a member of the team in Daisy Johnson who is already there. And so that internal conflict is something that we're going to get to play as well, which is if you're on a team and now suddenly one of them on the team is one of them, as we sort of say, then what does that mean? And what's fantastic about it is that it rings true in the things that Marvel does best, which is to take something that's out there now in culture, which is how we're starting to become more invested in the differences between people, and whether that's race or religion or their sexuality, that's the thing that Marvel does best, which is how we feel about people who are different than us. And what could be more different than someone who can burst into flame or turn invisible or do all of these things? And how do we like that? Do we not like that? Are we afraid of that? Those kinds of questions, which we ask ourselves every day about the people that we meet, that we read about, that we work with, you can now use that metaphor and see where it goes. It's an awesome responsibility, but it's very much like, in many ways, we think of ourselves as the way that the comics help define who characters are and introduce them to a large audience. We're now sort of the next super level of that. So if people learn what an inhuman is through the show, just in the United States, we have 10 million viewers. And so that's 10 million more people who can then socialize, oh, I know what an inhuman is, so that when the movie comes out, whether or not the movie has a completely different plot or characters or anything else like that, the concept of it is something that will have been already introduced in a way that's very exciting.
I'm sorry, that's all the time we have. Thank you.
He's coming on the show.